This week in comic books, we say goodbye to Sergeant Rock. He was an American hero. Issue number 1 ends with Bruce Campbell on it, and I do want to talk about it, and possibly what the future may hold for Sergeant Rock. Also, in the lands of Marvel, I have just a load of number ones. We're just going to review them and jump through that because it's a lot of number ones, and some of them are fake number ones. And in the land of Independence, we get Phantom Road. Let me try to sell you something. Let's jump into it. Check out our boys over at Coffee Brand Coffee. Use promo code POCANJO and save yourself 10%. Hey, what's going on, you wonderful weirdos? It's your boy POCANJO, and I'm back with another week, another stack of comic books in all of its glory. So let's jump right into these with DC this week with Stargirl. This is kind of interesting because I think we're going to get an old switcheroo in here. Who do you think the bad guy is, right? In this case, it turned out the big bad in the background was our man. But we also got this new emerging leader who seems to be very focused on him being in charge. And that's Corky. So I don't know. We may do a switcheroo in here, but finally the big bad has shown up and the kids are now attacking the base as he's coming through to take all the kids away in this kind of weird explanation of how time worked, where they just kind of took the kids out of time to place them here. We still aren't 100% sure, like they kind of explained it, but I don't think it was a very good explanation why they took the kids. It's just kind of weird to me. And that's why I'm thinking a switcheroo's coming and it was actually somebody else's fault, because that would make more sense. So yeah, good read, great art. I enjoy this. I enjoy this more than I enjoy Strange Academy, and I like Strange Academy. All right, next, Sergeant Rock. So Sergeant Rock ends. Of course, he kills zombie Hitler, right? And of course, true Sergeant Rock fashion, sticking a grenade in his mouth and then kicking the back of his head till his mouth shuts. Right? Ultimately doing the thing that a hero does, making the ultimate sacrifice in there, but luckily he survives the big explosion, the whole 9 yards, in the hospital, getting well, and then we kind of get a hint that there may be another series, and I really hope there is, and I hope Bruce Campbell stays on this, because this is the perfect comic book for those people like me that read a bunch of comic books, like just a bunch of them, right? Good, bad, indifferent, whatever the case may be, and sometimes you just want violence with some sarcastic humor in it. So that's all. That's all a lot of us want, right? And this definitely delivers on that, and I love it. So moving right into Marvel this week, not a lot of DCs that I picked up. So we got Spider-Gwen and Shadow Clone. So I always pride myself as a person, as I just said, that I'll buy whatever. And I'm not a Spider-Gwen fan, but I will show credit where credit is due in a good story. Unfortunately, I can't do that with Spider-Gwen. It's generic. It's generic. We take Spider-Man's most famous villains, we stick them in Spider-Gwen's universe, but that's not good enough, right? Because they're still associated with Spider-Man. So when we kick them out, we got a mad scientist now who's just cloning Gwen with these other villains and kind of doing a mixerooey there and sending them after Gwen with an inhibitor or something or other, can control them. So what? So can I just go ahead and say that at this point? Just so what? Because it's always the same thing in these stories. It's some sort of identity crisis that some person is going through, and it's a lot of hoobabaloo woo woo. Yeah, that's a new one. About identity. Yeah, no. Just stop. It will get rebooted about 5-6 issues in. I don't know. Cool cover though. Check out the cover. Next, I was kind of hard on Spider-Gwen. I apologize. If you're a fan of Spider-Gwen, again, this is not an attack on you as the reader. This is just what I noticed in the story, and it seems pretty predictable. So again, I apologize. But Spider-Man came out this week. This new one. That's right. And the Unforgiven. So in this one, we meet the Forgiven, as they call themselves. But in this one, this is great because we get introduced to this kind of group of vampires that want to walk a different path, right? And they're able to walk during the light because they have these magical woo-woo stones, right? Whatever. It's always got to be magic if it breaks any rules. So, and they got a new recruit, and the leader kind of gives us this inspirational story about the time that he worked with Captain America and names his new recruit Red Blood. That's her code name, Red Blood, right? And usually, when you get a team dynamic story, right, there's always the one storyline that's some sort of betrayal, right? We've seen this, right? Even if it's, they're jumping sides back and forth, right? Or like Casey Jones in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle storyline. But in this one, they like just went ahead and did that right up front where Red Blood kills the leader, right? Fries him, and they takes his little gemstone away, so he fries. It was good. Also, great internal monologue in here from Spider-Man about, he's scared of scary things, right? It's just creepy, and I'm sure we've all had that feeling, like in the middle of the night, especially when you were a kid, and you were like walking in the dark or something, and you just felt like something was there, right? Did you just get that tingle? I know I did. Like you just felt like something was there. Um, that's what he's kind of talking about in here. Not so much the spider tingle, Peter tingle thing, but more of just that creepiness feeling of being on edge. And I thought that was good. And he also talked about, being scared of monsters and then ultimately becoming a monster as well. I thought that was pretty ingenious, pretty good stuff. It's smart, and I'm so happy to see it. I'm super happy to talk fondly of Spider-Man again because of this story. So thank you for that, Marvel. Next, Murder World, Game Over. Issue number 1, but we know better. This kind of focuses on Alex and his backstory. He was the one that seemed like he was a really cool guy. He like helped people. He kind of hooked up with that fighter lady. They kind of did the dirty in the cave. And he seemed to be kind of helpful and carrying people. Not so much. Come find out, he's a douche, like a huge douche. Has a family back home, so the whole sleep hooking up with the fighter thing. Right? Apparently, he's very careless with the family's monies and funds, and overall, he's probably just not that bright. I'll just go ahead and say it. But he ends up winning the contest, or does he? Everything he's done has been broadcasting, so his family knows about him sleeping around. The authorities know about him sleeping or killing people and just being an all-around douchebag and betraying people. So, like, anything that could make him respectable in any way has been destroyed, right, by his actions. But he gets $100 million. So anyway, he takes this deal where some of the money will go to his family to help support it, but now he's going to work with Arcade and kind of work with him. Or, right, he could have just taken the money and booked out and continued to be a douchebag. Where would you stand on that one? Comment down below. Well, no, don't, because I don't need your family looking at it and blaming me for it. Normally, this is where I would pitch you to comment down below. Don't answer that question. That would be bad. All right, next. Hallows Eve, number 1. A lot of number 1s this week from Marvel. This is interesting. So Hallows Eve. Miss Eve here. Let's do that. She came off the cusp of Dark Web and just a little bit before that too. And her kind of shtick is when she puts on a mask, she changes into the thing the mask is. So like a werewolf or a ghost or an Avenger or whatever the case may be, right? She kind of changes into that and adapts the abilities and strengths of that and weaknesses. That's going to be important later. And the weaknesses of that particular character. This is interesting. I always love stories about masks because masks are nothing more than an exaggeration of real, like a comic book. Comic books have real life stuff in them, like racisms and battle and war and things like that and conflict between people, right? Has that, but it exaggerates on such a scale, and that's what makes it entertaining. Masks do the same thing, right? There's the monster or the funny, sad clown or whatever the case may be. It's nothing more than an exaggeration of what's inside of somebody. So I thought that was great. Great concept. I don't know how it would work, though, because having a superhero hauling a huge backpack of masks around with him all the time, right? Do you just pick a couple that you just take with you at some point, or do you load them up like a G.I. Joe action figure? I don't know. Anyway, in this, she's trying to scrap together as much money as she can. So when Ben Raleigh gets out of purgatory, which he's not expected to do anytime soon, they can go off and hide someplace and spend that money that they're stealing, for a fresh start. See the fallacy in the thinking here? Right. Moving on. I am Iron Man. I'm much like Spider-Man at this point. I'm super happy to be able to say good things about an Iron Man story. I enjoyed this one. Yeah, it did the thing where it's jumping around in time, and we kind of don't really understand why this villain is in here. But they play a guitar and they can manifest like creatures and stuff because they're from the future. That's what you do, right? It's magic or future, right? That's some form of woo-woo that needs to happen to make the weirdness happen. But we do get to see a cool Tony Stark being a cool Tony Stark. So if you haven't picked this up, again, I'm always hesitant to recommend a book, but I don't know. You may enjoy it. Definitely check it out. Flip through it if you haven't. Another number one this week is Cosmic Ghost Rider. So this comes out, and I'm excited about this. First off, this is not really a cosmic story. This is a spaghetti western. The thing they did over at Mandalorian. Ultimately, in this story, what we get is the old Frank Castle, right? He's in the future. He's old. He's been running and gunning for a while now. He's hiding out, doing some, just shit work. While he's hiding out. And then, dun, 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 bounty hunter shows up. But it was all a dream. And I hate that when everything's just, is this a dream? I'm not a fan of that kind of storytelling. But the bounty hunters has me enough curious that I kind of want to check it out. And he looks vaguely familiar. Like a particular bounty hunter from Star Wars. I will show you. Right? Didn't we see that dude? Yeah. I don't know. I hope they don't let me down on this one. Speaking of non-first appearances, or just adding more confusion to the word first appearances or term, Ghost Rider number 12. So here it is. Solicitation said first appearance of Danny Ketch as this new Ghost Rider machine thing, which would absolutely be wrong because it's already happened. Or did it? Are we just going to call that what happened already? Because they have shown him. They shown Danny Ketch stretched out, right? And then they showed the character that he's just new kind of Ghost Rider that he's supposed to be being transformed into. And then they did it again in this one. And usually it's about a panel. So the question to the community, definitely comment down below on this one if this makes sense. As it stands right now, we got the return of Danny Ketch, right? Cameo or brief appearance, whatever you want to call it, one panel of this new Ghost Rider. Another brief or cameo appearance of this particular Ghost Rider. So when does the first appearance actually happen? I don't really know these days. And if you want to know what happened in the story, they were literally going to Savannah, right? And then found out that it's on fire and everybody's blaming Ghost Rider for it. And then he deduces that it's some form of a Ghost Rider. I think we're dropping this. Because if it becomes a collector's item because of a first appearance, I got 3 of them now, so I should be good, right? All right, last but not least, Phantom Road. This was okay. I really wish they would have put more into this. The synopsis of this is truck driver, weird childhood, gets into a car crash, right? Jumps out, magical stone on the ground. He touches it, and it warps him into this kind of wasteland with these kind of zombies. We'll just call them zombies for now. Him and the young lady kind of get away, but then they're like, oh no, we need to go get the magical woo-woo stone that sent us here. So they run over all the zombies. That's literally what happened in this book. And I'm just like, no clarification, nothing. I don't even think they gave us names. There was a scene in here that was just way too long at a diner that just didn't do anything. So, I don't know. Planet Comic Con coming up 16th through the 19th. I'm going to be there with a bunch of other YouTubers. Our Midwest boys are going to be out that way, so I definitely want to go out there and see them. Apparently, we're going to be down in Powerlight District, and we'll be checking out a few other things, plus the con itself. So if you see me, be sure to ask for one of my patches. First come, first serve kind of thing. Bring about 25 with me. Because I'll be surprised if I get rid of that many there, to be honest. Evil Era Project's built, still got to be on time, right? We don't change the rules because life changes, right? So Evil Era Project will be done at the end of the month. This one's a collab. Somebody kind of gave me a good idea, and they kind of wanted to play along, so I'm thankful for that. And then it's going to be HeroesCon shortly after that. So yeah, a lot of good stuff coming up. So make sure you hit that notification bell, hit the subscribe, leave a comment down below, and if you're feeling extra generous, consider sharing. If you hit the little share button, it gives you all kinds of options to share it someplace. That would be really cool of you. All right, guys. Until next week, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.